Most people think fluency is built on the easy days, when you're motivated, energized, but what if the truth is the exact opposite? That the worst days are the ones that decide whether you'll ever be fluent. If that sounds backwards, then stick with me, because once you see it, you'll never look at bad days the same way again. I'm Nick, I speak 4 languages, and I'm currently working on my 5th. And here's what I've learned the hard way. If you only study when you feel like it, you'll never build the kind of consistency that fluency demands. The skill isn't studying, the skill is showing up, especially when it's inconvenient. I've had plenty of days where I felt like skipping my study. Strangely, some of those days turn into my most productive one because I found ways around the resistance. Instead of forcing myself through Anki or Duolingo, I switched the task to something easier, like watching a series in my target language, or I leaned on the 2-minute rule, starting with a single action just to keep the streak alive. Here's the simple frame. On easy days, anyone can show up. There's no friction, but the habit that carries you to fluency is forged under friction. It's like lifting. Warm-ups don't make you strong. The reps that count are the ones you grind out when the bar feels heavy and you want to rack it. Language learning is the same. Every time you show up on a hard day, even for 2 minutes, you cast a vote for the kind of person who becomes fluent. So, why do people stall out? There are usually 3 traps. Trap 1 is waiting for motivation. Motivation spikes when something is new, and then it vanishes. If your plan relies on feeling ready, the first working week kills the habit. You'll tell yourself you'll restart next Monday, then next month, then after summer. The fix is to stop outsourcing consistency to a feeling. Build triggers, not hopes. Trap 2 is overload. The new you signs up for everything. 50 new flashcards, 3 courses, an hour a day. It looks heroic and it lasts 4 days. On day 5, life happens. You miss the whole stack, the pile doubles, and your brain says, why bother? The solution is to set a minimum viable session that you can finish even on your busiest day. Trap 3 is the guilt loop. You miss one day, feel guilty, and now the story in your head is, I'm behind. That story makes the next action feel heavier, so you delay again. Suddenly, it's been weeks. The fix is to treat misses like potholes, not cliffs. Step over them and keep walking. Breaking out of these traps doesn't require more discipline, it requires better systems. System number 1 is that you pick a safety net. Pick a 2-minute action you can do even on your worst day, like reviewing 3 Anki flashcards. I currently do 4. Read 1 sentence, write a single line in your notes. 2 minutes doesn't transform your level, it transforms your identity. You still get to say, I studied today. That keeps the chain alive. Bonus points if you actually set aside enough time to do some serious studying, but you start by only doing the 2 minutes. System number 2 is to have a default session. 15 minutes, 3 simple activities you enjoy. For example, 5 minutes of reading, 5 minutes flashcards, and then 5 minutes speaking out loud. If you know what you're doing, then you won't have any decision fatigue. No drama, you just play and go, and if you got more energy, great. If not, you still finished. System number 3 is accountability. A partner, a group post, a weekly check-in. The point isn't pressure for pressure's sake, it's a nudge when your own willpower dips. You don't need a drill sergeant, you just need someone who notices whether you showed up. So my bare minimum, I've had enough days where I barely managed to find time to study, or didn't want to study at all, to realize I needed bare minimum routine. A floor I could always hit. For me, that's just a couple of effective actions I can do in 2 minutes. The key is that they need to actually move you forward. I have a friend who likes to brag about his Duolingo streak, but on his bad days, he just repeats the very first lesson. It's quick, but useless. A better choice would be doing the newest lesson or reading a few lines of text. And timing matters too. So set your bare minimum at a moment when you could go longer if motivation suddenly hits. Otherwise, you waste that window. Let's make this practical. Build your own minimums menu right now, which could be that you set aside 2 minutes when everything's on fire, and then 15 minutes is the default. So on normal busy days, I will for instance, do 3 tasks. And for accountability, you can simply log it. You have your Notes app on your phone, or you could use Notion. Do you notice what's missing? It's perfection. You're building repeatability. Fluency is a time game, not a single perfect session. 10 minutes that happens every day beats 2 hours that happens once on a Sunday. So here's the deeper reason this works. Alex Hormozi talks about proof loops. You don't need faith that you'll push through hard times. You need evidence that you already can. When you push through one hard period, you create proof. Next time a hard week shows up, you don't panic, you recognize the pattern and run the play you practiced. That's resilience, not hype, but receipts. So let's talk about hard period, not just hard days. A day is manageable. A week or a month of chaos feels like a storm. That's where most learners disappear. Your job isn't to be extraordinary. Your job is to be consistent enough to outlast the storm. Here's how to handle a hard period. Shrink the target, means half your default session. If your normal is 15 minutes, then make it 7. If you normally add 10 new cards, then add 3. Aim for laughably doable. You narrow the focus, you pick one tiny outcome for the week, and that's the one thing you focus on. For instance, I will learn and use 5 words across everything I do. Simpler is stickier. Lower the bar for done. If you reviewed a handful of cards and read a paragraph, you're done. Don't stack extra tasks on a week that's already heavy. This is especially true for those of us that are learning a language for fun. Don't confuse it for something where you have to. Make it easy, but make it something that you stick to. So pre-commit the smallest action. Text a friend or post in your community. This week, my minimum is X, and I will confirm on Friday. Tiny social commitment and big follow through. Reset after the storm. That's the dream. Put a date on your calendar when you'll bump your default backup. Hard periods, they end. Your plan should reflect that. When I took a break early on with Portuguese, coming back was brutal. I'd forgotten so much, and I was stuck relearning things I'd known. Just months earlier, the habits that used to feel automatic weren't sticking. Even the shows I used to enjoy weren't engaging anymore. This was during a 2-month break at university, and I knew that if I didn't push through, I'd be in even more trouble once my courses started up again. So I forced myself to grind through 2 hard weeks, and it was only afterwards that I realized something important. I now had proof that even after falling once, I could come back. The next time I hit a wall, I knew I'd be able to climb it. The first push is always the hardest. After that, the difficulty is familiar because you know the process. There's another mindset shift that helps, and it's win definitions. Most learners only count big sessions. That's like counting PR days in the gym. Redefine the win as keeping promises to your future self. On a heavy day, the promise might be 2 minutes. On a lighter day, it might be 30. Both are wins when they match the plan. And because people love tools, here are a few simple plays. First one is the 2-touch rule. So you touch the language twice a day. 1 micro safety net, like just look up the first flashcards that you get in your Anki, and 1 normal, which is the default, that you read a chapter. 2 small hits beat 1 big hit for retention. The 1-word echo is you pick 1 word in the morning, you use it in reading, writing, speaking, and cards before bed. Repetition in context cements it. The open then decide trick. On hard days, open your material and do 60 seconds. After 60 seconds, then decide if you'll continue. Most of the time, inertia flips and you keep going. Environment biasing is that you put your phone or home screen in the target language. Place 1 feed with target language creators. Passive exposure isn't study, but it's a nudge. If you're thinking, won't tiny sessions slow me down? Remember the alternative. The real killer isn't small sessions, it's gaps. A week off costs you far more than a week of small reps. Small reps preserve momentum. Momentum preserves identity, and identity preserves consistency. And consistency beats intensity over any meaningful time frame. Let's zoom out. The reason the hard days are so important isn't that they're productive, it's that they're pivotal. They're where most people opt out. If you stay in the game on those days, you separate yourself and slowly, quietly, but decisively. The work you do on hard days isn't the most impressive, but it is the most consequential. So next time you're tired, busy, or just not in the mood, say this, maybe out loud. This is a rep that makes me fluent. You don't need to be a hero, you just need to show up. And the rep can be small, it just has to happen. If you want a structure built exactly for this, then that's what the Fluent Habits workbook is for. It's 30 days of small, simple tasks designed to keep you consistent, even when motivation disappears. You can grab it for free in the description. And once you've learned how to push through the hard days, the next step is using that consistency. If memory is your weak spot, then check out my Anki video. And if input is what you need, then watch my guide on which books to start with in a new language. Both are linked right here.